Hi, everybody. It's Mrs. K. I'm in my, no, I'm not in my music room. Can you tell where I am? I think I see plates and bowls up there. This is my dining room. This is where we eat. And the reason why I'm here today is because I'm talking to you about a guy who was hungry. You'll like this story. There was a guy named Gideon. He was an Israelite, and he lived in Israel at a time when people had forgotten all about God, and everything was a big mess. In fact, an entire nation called the Midianites had come in, invaded their country, and overrun everything. They smashed gardens, they stole the animals, and if they caught anybody with food, they stole the food too. Gideon was hungry. Where am I going to get something to eat? He got an idea. I think I am going to go into the wine press. What's a wine press? Well, it was underground, and you put grapes in it, and you pressed and squeezed until you got grape juice or wine. But he wasn't making grape juice or wine. He was trying to just get something to eat. He took a little bit of wheat, and wheat has outside husk, and inside are little tiny seed-like things, grains or kernels of wheat. And if you get a bunch of them together and you smash them and you grind them really fine, they turn into flour. Oh, now you know. Flour and yeast and eggs and a couple other things can turn into bread. That's what he was doing, hiding underground in a wine press, trying to get something to eat. While he was there, suddenly a heavenly visitor came to him, an angel. And the angel said, "The Lord is with you, oh, mighty warrior." Mighty warrior? Maybe mighty wimp. I'm hiding underground just trying to get something to eat. There's nothing warrior about me. But God looked and saw that Gideon could be a warrior if he believed God. And God said, "I want you to lead an army of Israelites in battle against the Midianites." Say, "What? I can't do that." And Gideon made up all kinds of excuses, and then God gave him the reason why he should. He said, "The Lord will be with you." Then he realized that Gideon needed to test his faith and find out if I have the courage to do this. So God gave him something little to do. Is Gideon going to obey? Is he going to trust? Is he going to believe? God says, "You know all those goofy statues in your town? You know the ones that people have made, carved out of wood or stone? And they're praying to them like those statues have ears to hear and a mouth to answer? I want you to go get rid of them." Gideon thinks, my family's going to be mad at me. But he obeyed God. Because you see, if you want to trust God for something big, like leading people into battle, you need to trust God for something little, like tearing down idols that can't answer prayer. So Gideon did it. And it did give him courage. So he sent out the call. Get the word out. We're going into battle against the Midianites. God is going to give us the victory. 30,000 guys showed up. And God said, "That's too many." Too many? There are a lot of Midianites. Too many. Just ask them, how many of you are afraid? So Gideon did. About 22,000 of them went home. Well, that's okay. I still have around 10,000 soldiers. God says, that's still too many. Really? Yeah. So he said, send them all down to the creek and tell them to go get a drink of water and watch what they do. Well, a bunch of them got down on their bellies and lapped it up like they were dogs. And then a bunch more got down on their knees and just scooped the water into their hand and drank it out of their hand like it was a cup. And God says, the cup drinkers are your warriors. They're the ones that are going to go with you into battle. Gideon counted. There were 300 soldiers against the entire Midianite army. Yes, 300. So Gideon is still feeling a little bit nervous. And it was nighttime. The Midianites are all in the valley, in their tents, whatever, sleeping. And God says, you need to go down into their camp quietly. You don't want anybody to see you. You're going to hear something that is going to give you courage. You're going to know for sure that the battle is the Lord's. So Gideon goes down quietly. He takes a friend with him. And just as they got there, they heard two Midianite soldiers talking. One of them says, I had a weird dream. I dreamt that a big loaf of bread came tumbling out of the mountain, came down into our camp, and smashed it all. The other guy said, that can be none other than Gideon the Israelite. The Lord has given the Midianite camp into his hands. I cannot imagine what Gideon must have thought at that moment. Can you believe it? They're afraid of us. They don't know that there's only 300. God's got this. And so the two guys went back up and they said, we're going to attack the Midianites now. In the middle of the night? In those days, nobody ever did that. We're going tonight. Here are your weapons. And each soldier got a clay pot with a torch inside, a flame, a fire. And the other weapon was a trumpet. Not the same kind, but made noise. So they're going into battle with a trumpet, a noisemaker, and a fire inside of a clay pot? Yep. No swords, no spears, no bows, no arrows. That's what it is. Gideon says, do what I do. First, you're going to blow your trumpet. Second, you're going to yell for the Lord and for Gideon. 3, you're going to break that clay pot. We're going to go charging down into the Midianite camp. So 100 of Gideon's men were on this side, 100 were on this side, and 100 on this side, all around, surrounding that valley of Midianite sleeping soldiers. And Gideon says, ready? Go. Da, 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 with the trumpet. 300 trumpets in the middle of the night, sounding down. Midianites are freaking out. Then they hear yelling for the Lord and for Gideon. 300 Israelites are yelling for the Lord and for Gideon. And then they see fire coming down at them. 300 torches all coming towards them. They freaked out. They started running here, there, and everywhere. They started fighting each other, and a bunch died. And then some ran away, and they were captured. Can you believe it? No soldiers, no weapons, just 300 guys who believed God like Gideon did. God cleaned up the big mess in Israel where people didn't have food to eat and they had to hide to try to find a way to make it. He cleaned up that huge mess. He turned people around from stopping praying, from praying to idols and to statues made out of wood and stone. He turned them around by turning one guy around. You see, there was a mess inside of Gideon, like there was everybody else. They didn't believe God anymore. And when one guy, Gideon, scared, wimpy, dared to believe God could do anything, God cleaned up the mess here and turned him and changed him from a wimp to a warrior. And that one guy then helped more and more and more people believe God. They got in the big mess because they stopped believing God. And God cleaned up their mess and changed them on the inside when they began to believe him. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Just like Gideon, not a wimp, now a warrior. Old things are gone. No more hiding to try to make food. Behold, all things are new. If you have a mess, if you will believe God, God will give you a new beginning. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad that you joined us, and I hope that we can see you again real soon. Bye-bye.